Hi, it's Raey. I've watched 133 films this year, so we're going to talk about it. Welcome to my film rep for 2025. So, 52 of them were in my capacity as a screener for the Austin Film Festival, so I can't talk about those. And then 32 of them were Ingmar Bergman's films because I started out the year with a goal to watch every single Ingmar Bergman film. And turns out the man had 48, four of which were documentaries. So I was like, okay, I'll watch the 44 narrative films. And then out of the 44, 6 of them he wrote but didn't direct. So I was like, that leaves us with 38, and of which I have only watched 6 so far. So 32. So that leaves us with 49, of which 2 were rewatches. So 47 new films. I've watched 47 new films this year. And now I'll talk about my top 3 favorite 2025 releases. So I have 2 number ones. The first number one is Yorgos Lanthimos' Begonia. If you know me, this should come as no surprise because I am a very big Yorgos fangirl. So I would admit that there is already a bias there. I was a little bit let down by Kinds of Kindness after the treat that was the favorite, followed by Poor Things. So I kind of went into this one with very managed expectations in the sense that I kind of didn't have any. Also, did you watch this movie? I feel like not a lot of people did. At least in Singapore, there wasn't much press around it, which is strange considering that it's Yorgos and Emma's, but I digress. This film had me by the edge of my seat the entire time in the best of ways. Who was telling the truth? Was it Emma Stone's character? Was it Jesse Plemons' character? Is it a little bit of both? If you're into edging, this film is definitely for you. The satisfaction that is delivered is sweeter than the honey you see Emma Stone drenched in the promotional poster. This film is undeniably violent, but not in a gratuitous way. And I kind of like that the violence was varied. It wasn't one note throughout the whole film, and he ended the film on a very different flavor of violence. The violence in the final act felt benevolent, almost gentle, if you may. And it slows into a montage that lets you sit and chew on exactly all that have happened, the aftermath of the climax, the release after being on the edge of your seat the entire film. The ending montage was undeniably my favorite part of the whole movie. It made it all so worth it. Was it a little self-indulgent? Maybe. Maybe too much? Perhaps, but I fucking forgive it because of how much I like it. Watching this film was like riding one hell of a roller coaster, and he lands, and you're like, again. I'm already looking forward to re-watching this film. Speaking of films with great sequences, Sinners. Yeah, you already know which scene I'm talking about. Some of the best blocking, direction, choreography, sound design that I have seen in a long time. For me, what makes a film good is really not about how great they are in each of these individual parts, but rather the synergy of all these elements that makes a good film great. And Sinners knocks it out of the park in both ways. But what makes Sinners so great is that on paper, nothing about it sounds vastly original. If somebody was just like, yeah, this is a vampire movie and somebody in it has musical magic, you'll be like, okay, I feel like that's been done before. And you wouldn't be wrong. But it hasn't been done by Ryan Coogler, and it hasn't been done in such a way on such a scale. It is in Ryan Coogler's vision and execution that makes this a wholly original beast of its own. That page to screen jump and the way he used every fucking element that you can find in cinema, production design, costumes, shots, all of it is a great testament to why film is the seventh art, and the seventh art is the greatest and bestest. I really, really love this film. It absolutely is deserving of the big screen. I wish I can watch it again on a big screen sometime. And I actually love it equally with Begonia, which is why they are my 2 number ones for the year. And now, to finish the top 3, I have Conclave. Well written, well paced, stunning performance by Ralph Fiennes, gorgeous cinematography, and apparently a premonition for what's to come for the rest of the year. It felt like someone on marketing was like, it'd be really great for our film if the Pope died and they had to vote a new Pope, because everybody is gonna be like, oh my gosh, it was exactly like in Conclave. which was kind of low key what happened. So it was fucking great, actually. Like there was so many jokes that came out of it. People were like, "We need a whole conclave parties where you just get all your friends together in one room and nobody can leave until we vote on a leader, unanimously." And yeah, this film was a cultural moment to say the least, but also just fucking beautiful on its own. So yeah, that's my top three. And now for some honorable mentions, if you would like to stick around. So honorable mentions. Number one, Del Toro's Frankenstein. Love the production design, love the performances, love the double narrative kind of approach that was executed really well. It doesn't always happen. And honestly, the theatricality of it all. But guess what? We didn't actually get to see it in fucking theaters. So thanks, Netflix. Next honorable mention, It's Just an Accident by Jafar Pahani. I did get to see this one on the big screen, which was such a delight. There's a lot of trust between the audience and the filmmaker in this one, which was just the right amount of show, don't tell. Which I feel like is getting rarer and rarer these days, where a lot of like the newer films is a lot of tell, don't show, because they just don't trust the audience to be able to put two and two together. And it feels lazy. And I don't know if it's like the filmmakers are getting lazy or they assume the audiences are lazy. So they're just like, well, they're not going to do it anyway. So we're just going to have to fucking tell them. But yeah, so always nice to watch a film where they trust me to use my own brain. Also, fantastic use of sound design. Always love a good sound design. Incredibly well written and well paced. And very, very confident direction on the part of Pahani. But of course, you can expect no less from the man. No Other Choice by Park Chan-wook. I think this is going to end up being the Fight Club of the 2020s in the sense that it's got the same amount of violence, I would say. Kind of same sort of very dark humor, and also just the critique of the current stage of capitalism that we are in right now. Like, it's just very indicative of exactly how bad the current job market is and the economy we live in. Like, I feel like people in the future are going to watch it and be like, was it that bad? And we're going to have to go like, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. No, seriously, I think more than one of us thought about literally killing off the competition to get jobs because that was the sense of desperation that was in the air. So given that this is my 2025 film recap, I feel the need to bring this up. One of my highlights in 2025 was getting involved in a very small way with the promotional efforts for We Can Save the World, which is this little Singaporean indie sci-fi comedy. Now, perhaps you know nothing of the Singaporean film landscape, but know that indie sci-fi comedy are three words that don't usually line up. I think what this film kind of achieved is something that we collectively haven't thought about enough. So I'll talk about it as an individual first, and I kind of want to talk about it on a macro scale as well, which was for me as wee little Raey. I have been looking for ways to kind of contribute back to the local film community and just be a part of something. And then an indie film that is so specific to the local culture, it really doesn't happen every day for us. So I'm so glad I got to be a part of it. I got to host and moderate a Q&A, which was something I've always kind of wanted to try. So I'm really, really thankful that they decided to take a chance on a random ding dong like me, because I'm sure they could have found somebody better. So on the note of gratitude, I'm really, really glad I got to try that this year. And through the community, shout out to FFF, I've got to meet some really great people as well. So yeah, on the macro scale, I don't think we have collectively realized what this film, or rather the movement around it, has done. And it's one of those things where it's going to be like a time would tell kind of thing. You can quibble about its artistic merits or lack thereof. You can have whatever fucking opinion you want about the film. You are entitled to that. But what I'm talking about is how people have came out to support this film, how this film proved that you did not need a certain formula to make a Singaporean film. This film proved that you could not follow the formula and also achieve success on your own. Obviously, debatable in terms of what you want to define the formula to be or what you want to define success to be. But it is there. And most importantly, it started some very important conversations in the year 2025. In the year 2025, what makes a Singaporean film? In the year 2025, how are we to define what is Singaporean about a film? And what exactly is it about this film that make it so Singaporean that you either love or hate it about it? If you don't like the answers to those questions, how can it change? Can you be a part of its change? What will you do about it? You could argue that this film was very small. You could argue that this film was very big in terms of whatever impacts that it has made. I think we haven't quite figured it out. I think time would tell. But I want to say it right now, that some point in the future, someone is going to say, well, I saw We Can Save the World do it. So I figured, why not me? And I think that is the important part of what this film has achieved this year. So, yeah, that was my 2025 in films. Thank you for watching. This will at most be an annual event. So, yep. Bye.